You don't see this ever. That's not something you see on eBay ever. What's up, everyone? Today I want to start a short series, or depending on how well it does, a series of updates on the market, but older cards, EX era stuff that I like, and I know a lot of you also like this stuff. Some of us think it's the best era in Pokemon. Here we got immediately sold today a ungraded copy of the Rayquaza Gold Star in raw condition. Looks kind of beat up. That looks like it's almost a crease. Wow, yeah, it's pretty beat up. Oh yeah, I used to own a Japanese Gold Star. It was the Latios, and although silver borders look better in general, there's something about yellow borders on this card, and any Gold Star really, that just makes it more authentic to me. It's just, what we grew up with. It still looks very nice, but yellow borders are nostalgic, and we will leave it at that. But almost $4,000 Canadian is pretty crazy. Next we got a Japanese Charizard, not first edition. So first edition cards were common Japanese continued the first edition trend up until I don't know, late 2000s. So this one's not first edition, it would say there. PSA 6 Charizard sold for $2,075. Metagross, one of the most underrated Gold Stars, almost $1,000 for a 4. A lot of these cards you can buy in any grade, and I think you'll be safe in the long run. I think these cards in any grade will appreciate. I know the evolutions are less popular. I think it's because it's the last set that had Gold Stars, besides like the Umbreon, the Espeon. Those came after EX Power Keepers, so pop 5. Nothing crazy, still very affordable cards, like in a 7. I think that's a great price. So maybe these are worth looking at for some of you trying to get into Gold Stars. 6s aren't bad. 4 sold for $4,500. Strong auction, 69 bids, new cert. Man, I wish I never sold mine. This is like one of the greatest Charizard arts we'll ever see. Another Flareon sold for almost $2,000 Canadian in an 8. Like, that's a solid price for a PSA 8 Gold Star. Yes, the pops are a bit higher on these, but I don't know. I think there's enough of us out there that like these cards nowadays. Or like a lot of new collectors, maybe, these cards are for anybody. Not just nostalgic collectors, not people that grew up in this era. They're truly very, very solid Pokemon investments and collectibles. Torchic, so PSA 10 of this card recently sold for I think $120,000. It's a pop 19 card, so not many of them in the world. $2,000 for a 3. Pretty wild. So you see the difference there in price between the first ever Gold Star and one of the last Gold Stars. 2007 versus 2004. The price difference. People really didn't take care of their cards, in 2004 or even up until 2007. Like, yes, the pops are higher on the Flareon, but relative to modern cards, it's nothing close. Surprising Alakazam. So a PSA 8 Alakazam sold for more than the Flareon, which is interesting because this is a more popular Pokemon overall, I'd say. But yeah, $4,000, $2,800 USD. Very nice card. Jolteon, PSA 7 for $2,100. Mewtwo, a PSA 6 sold for $3,100. And a huge auction here, $19,000 for the 9, the Mudkip. I think the Mudkip only has like 30 or 40 PSA 10s in the world, so this is another very low pop card. First ever set to introduce Gold Stars. Greninja kind of dropped a bit since the buzz died. Wow, a raw Charizard. I didn't see this. This is crazy. Wow. I'm not sure if somebody just took great condition of this or they pulled it recently. I don't think one was pulled recently. That's crazy. Super good. Like, yeah, like this is a 9 at least. Probably not a 10 because PSA is so strict nowadays. Wow. And the packet came in, I guess. Or he's adding a booster pack? Oh, just pulled straight into sleeve. Oh my god. Wow. Who the heck pulled this? in 2025? Wow. This one flew under the radar. I did not see this on any sort of news. Well, like, that's... I might even 10. Wow, I'm shocked. I'm actually lost for words. You don't see this ever. That's not something you see on eBay ever. That's crazy. All right, well, raw Suicune. Look at the price difference. A raw Charizard versus a raw Suicune. Not that Suicune's that much worse of a Pokemon. This card was stolen over and over again by one person. He had like hundreds of copies of this card. The dog trio is not worth as much as other Gold Stars because of that. Another Metagross for $2,100 Canadian and a PSA 6. Greninjas, sick of seeing Greninjas. Japanese Celebi, more modern. A raw Flareon. See the condition on this one. See, that's strange to me. Why not just buy a PSA 7 for like $1,700? Why pay $1,100 Canadian for a beat up copy when you can get a graded copy for in much better condition for just a little bit more? Mewtwo and a 1. PSA 1 cards do hold a weird premium because they're 1s and people like 1s more than 2s or 3s. So this one looks like it's creased. Pretty new cert. Sold for $1,200 USD. Some more modern. Entei, PSA 8, $1,300, not bad. PSA 9, not bad, $2,200. I think this is probably the best Gold Star dog. I think it's the most expensive. So that's really actually not bad. Mew Gold Star, what is this? In another language? Okay, it looks off-centered too. I'm not gonna look at that. 8? That's weird. An English 9 sold for like 22. All right, well, I would have bought the 9 over that. A 9 Entei, 2. PSA 8 Gyarados, or 6, wow. This is a super like expensive card in a 10 because it's so low pop for the time, especially 2006. Vaporeon. Yeah, if you want to get into Gold Stars, like the evolutions, so the Vaporeon, Flareon, Jolteon, or the dogs, like the legendary dogs, those are good little entry positions into Gold Stars. You can get them for decently high grades for, in today's world, a few $1,000 seems like nothing when you talk about Pokemon, which is crazy, but yeah, a few $1,000, which is still a lot, and be grateful for what we have. But yeah, so we got a PSA 5 Flareon for $1,000, Gyarados and a PSA 4, Raikou a 9, not bad. I think these cards could be a little bit more expensive. Ooh, my boy, I love this card. Posted a video of me trading for it. Super sick. Gold Star. EX Deoxys is one of the best sets of all time. We saw a 1 sell for pretty clean one. That's a solid 1. That could have been a 2. That kind of scares me because I just submitted a Latios Gold Star in worse condition than this. So I'm probably gonna get a 1 as well. 1,300 USD, very low pop card. Ooh, that's interesting. So the difference between a CGC 9 and a PSA 9 is around $1,000. More like $800-900, but yeah, so yo, pick up the CGC 9s. They're on discount. $1,000 discount versus PSA. Yeah, see? Almost 2,000, 1,200. That's not bad either. CGC 10 for 2,000. Registeel, we don't see this one often. PSA 7 for 1,500, that's pretty cool. Kyogre 7 for 3.3, nice. You know, these prices are crazy. It's because these cards are super collectible. Like, people that got these cards don't want to sell them. Mudkip, $3,000. Sale for a raw copy, 2.2K USD. It's probably going to be slightly beat up, lightly played. No? Yeah, looks like it's probably, yeah, lightly played. It's got some scratches right there too. Not bad. PSA 3 Latias sold for 2.4K. Raikou in 8, 13. See a lot of these dogs. You see a lot of the dogs for sale because there's so many of them on the market. PSA 6, 6K. Yeah, this is one of the chases. And it's actually grown on me too. And I'm not just saying that because it just sold for 120K. Like, the colors of it's the coolest color palette for the 3 starters. Looks like it has a swirl there too. Pretty big one. That's great. That's really cool. Celebi, 2.1K, August 16th. Another dog. PSA 3 Kyogre for 1.9K. PSA 7 Gyarados, 1 bid. Who knows if that went through? When you see 1 bid, like, I don't know. I don't trust it. Raw Alakazam, 759. Also, if anyone has a raw Alakazam for sale, my friend is trying to trade his collection for an Alakazam Gold Star. And he's got like close to $3,000 in trade value, and it's all good stuff like Evolving Skies, singles and whatnot, some sealed product. So if you want to do a cool video, make a cool video out of it. Let me know if you got an Alakazam Gold Star for sale, PSA 7 or under, or raw, lightly played. Offer accepted on the Groudon for 11K. A raw Kyogre, PSA 1 Groudon Gold Star for almost 2K. This is such a cool looking card. Yeah, that's awesome. Rayquaza, PSA 7, sold for 18,400. Strong auction, relatively new cert. Let's take a look at the condition. Yeah. I wonder how the surface is, but this card doesn't look that bad. PSA is tough now. It's tough to grade with PSA. PSA 2 Charizard for 3.5K. I think we already saw this one. 46 bids for a PSA 1 for 1,700. PSA 1 Latios, 800. Oh goodness, if my card comes back at PSA 1. I mean, it'd be kind of cool to have a 1, but damn, am I getting these? How are these 1s? How is this a 1? There's no creases. It's not even that bad. Surface doesn't look terrible. Wow, Japanese 10 Latias for 17,000. First edition or no? No, not first edition. 6.5 Mew for 2.7K. 5.5 Espeon for 7.1K. Yeah, this is wild. A heavily played Charizard sold for $2,000. Yeah. It's a 1. CGC 9, 17, 5.5 Latias for 3.3K. Espeon in a PSA 7 sold for 9K. 9.4. Yeah, these cards are super liquid, you know? They will sell in a hot market like lava cakes. In a cold market, though, they actually won't sell, which is crazy. Or at least when I tried selling them last year. I managed to sell 2 Gold Stars and prices were low. Nobody wanted them for like whatever I was asking. PSA 8, almost 3K. PSA 6, Japanese. Another Charizard sale, 4 for 4.1K. August 12th, 2.3K on the Celebi. Alright, this is about a week ago, so I'll cut it there. This is last week's Pokemon Gold Star update, and we saw some pretty crazy sales, especially the Charizard, the raw Charizard. That was wild. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. We'll see you in the next one.